How could we strike a balance between economic growth and environmental sustainability?
You've got to put the priority to what's eventually going to be the most important. And there's, from my mind, if we're studying the science, there's no question that we only have so much time to repair the earth. So what's that worth? And you've got to start to make a little bit of short-term sacrifices to make sure that the good thing that we have in the earth continues to maintain. So strike that balance. I wouldn't want to have to be the politician that makes those choices.
I just think that everybody needs to take into account that this is our earth and we only have one earth, so we need to think mindfully. Everything needs to be, done with a lot of thought. I'm Indigenous and I know that this is my land and I have to take care of it.
I think you have to look at making the environmental stability economic. I mean, there's got to be ways that they both are going to intersect somewhere. Yeah. You have to find those ways. That's the only way to do it.
Yeah.
Economic growth and environmental sustainability. Well, that's a balance. That's a very delicate balance. Certainly education, to be taught in schools. I mean, there's a lot of curriculum that's probably not as important in schools as is credits, economics, and the environment. It should be well taught because the kids that are growing up now, that generation, needs to know that because they're the future.
By investing in clean technologies and environmentally sustainable technologies and stop investing in oil, stop investing in technologies that aren't good for the environment.
Well, I think what you talk about is carbon taxes and things like that. To try to find the middle of the road is important, but I don't know. It costs money to do that. There's no question about it. But obviously, we want to talk about the future of this planet. Make sure that you're taking care of the environment. The environment, in my opinion, is a very important thing. And I know the economy is driven by obviously the two go hand in hand, right? But I think personally, I would make sure that it's not always out of the pockets of the consumer, because right now the consumers are finding it very difficult. Prices are risen as far as for cost of living. Inflation is up. People just can't afford, and I think you got to find. It's a fine line.
I just don't think it's a cut and dry answer. I think there's pros and cons, and it's all interrelated and interconnected. And I mean, you try to fix the economy, you hurt the environment, and vice versa. So there has to be some sort of cohesive answer, and I don't know it, unfortunately. So
I think to strike a balance is we need to draw the line on how far do we care about money over the expense of the environment. And if we draw that line and we're able to balance, we want to make money and want to have a strong economy, but then not on the expense of the environment, I think we'll be good.
Environmental sustainability is important because we still have to live in our cities and things. But I guess we can't really deny what's propping our economy up, right? We have to make money to develop ways to sustain the environment. So I guess finding that balance can be difficult, and it might have to tip one way or the other sometimes.
I think it's really tough here in Canada because the whole world isn't on the same page. So as we become stricter and about how our businesses operate, that's an industry operates, and we make them clean up their act, we become less competitive in the world market because we have to charge more for our products because we're having to spend money on cleaning things up. I think if the whole world was on the same page with the environment, it would be a way easier job.
I'm under the impression that we're getting a bit beyond the point of striking a balance. I think it's what you're seeing is a need to make a difficult choice, and I'm sort of in favor of canning oil and gas projects in favor of the environment.
I think that a lot of companies that are making all the money on gases and things like that, furnace oils, whatever, are, I hate to say too greedy, but everybody's just trying to get ahead right now. But if everybody could get together and stop with the greed and realize that we do not need that anymore, there's other options. There's solar-powered options. There's, I'm sure, tons of other things that they're making. If they know how to go to space and go to the moon, do this stuff, they can create better things for us here to make it cheaper. But that will take everybody getting together and saying, we want this to stop and we want to live a better life, and that's about it for that, I would say.
You probably need to invest in newer markets like technology, maybe invest in nuclear energy as opposed to fossil fuels, things like that, I'd say.
Economic growth with sustainability. You know, again, I certainly don't have the answer, but there is a balance there somewhere. I don't know exactly where it is. I think I'm one for business, and I think growth is important in any area, whether it's in Yarmouth County or in British Columbia or Ontario. I think there is a balance. For us, the fishing industry is very, very important. A lot of fuel is being spent on the fishing industry and pollution. So, you know, where do you balance that? I think it's going to be hard, but I think there's an answer, and I think we should talk to a lot of people in both in the industries and the environmentalists and try to strike a balance.